Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is another edition of Living World of Darkness, the vampire venue, and Arcs are there too, but who cares? They're Camarillas, and we are down in the bunker, um, where Selena has asked Lucius, of all people, to assist her um, in training her to prepare for the imminent larger attack that's going to happen. And Lucius will come to the training room um, carrying several wooden weapons, and he'll be having a naked upper body, um, and he'll be wearing leather pants, stuff like that, and army boots.
And Selena will come to the training area. She's just wearing like black jeans, a fitted black t-shirt. She's wearing combat boots. Her hair's tied back. She's scrubbed off all makeup. And as she walks in, um, Lucius might notice that every other time he'll have seen her, she'll have had very long manicured fingernails, but she's cut them all right down. She has barely any fingernails left, and she looks a lot more normal than she usually would.
Lucius, expecting her not to adjust that quickly and that roughly, is kind of surprised and in his own way impressed. But the fact that she's willing to mend her own personality, so to speak, in order to become a true Camarilla warrior in this war. Um, and as he approaches her, he looks at her and can't really find anything that could possibly be wrong with her outfit. And he almost looks disappointed in not being able to scorn you in any way. And then says, "Okay, right. Um, Before we get started, there are many ways of brawling techniques, many martial arts sports. Um, when it comes to a street fight or a brawl, especially if you're brawling with many more people, many techniques go out the window, and it just becomes a hold on for dear life kind of game, where we as kindred are most of the time very much captivated by the beast and will try to bite, which is something that makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to try and see if I can help you to survive in an upcoming brawl. So you have two kinds of brawls. The one where you get charged. Um, this charge normally happens when the enemy frenzies. Um, many times they forget any sort of a ranged weaponry and will resort to, well, more martial weaponry, daggers, sometimes swords. Um, Gangrel most definitely barehanded with their claws. Have you been in any brawl, any kind at all?
She's been listening to him as he speaks. All her normal kind of flirtatious, playful demeanor seems to have gone for the moment, and she's clearly taken this very seriously. And she'll just shake her head. No, no, I'm a complete beginner, I'm afraid.
Don't be afraid. I mean, you're here, so you're willing to fight. That's more than some I remember. Um, so we'll try and train you in deflecting most of the attacks. This doesn't mean that you'll escape a brawl, but it means that you might be able to break the initial action. Also, don't forget that your discipline, known as celerity, might help in breaking free because of your quickness. So whenever you're in a brawl and you are able, um, spend your vitae on your quickness, so you might break the brawl, um, or even if you got the upper hand, um, bite your opponent and win your brawl.
Okay.
But I'll try to teach you about deflecting first. So what happens most of the time is that they'll charge at you. So try to make a stance where you can actually stop a charger, or the way you think.
And she'll kind of put her feet one slightly behind the other, um, so that she's as steady as she can be. And she'll kind of glance down at her boots and then back up at Lucius.
Lucius will approach you, and he will look at the way you're standing, and he will place his hands on your hips and make adjustments. When he will attack, he'll most likely go for the middle because it's the largest part. So make that largest part you have as small as possible. That means that you'll have the upper hand when he dodges in the middle, and he'll adjust your middle, and then he'll adjust your hind leg as well. Most of the attack, when it comes, you'll catch with your hind leg, so that needs to be the most steady. You can even try, if you are more advanced, to even make a preliminary kick before he attacks. But your hind leg will get the most of the impact. That means that needs to be the strongest. If you can find a way to put it against an item or a wall or anything like that, that will help you take the initial attack. That means you'll stand instead of fall. If you fall, it will become into a wrestling sort of situation, something I don't advise at a beginner level.
Okay, noted. And she'll make herself flexible as he kind of adjusts her position, and then she'll brace her, her back leg as much as possible.
He'll then step in front of you and see if the angle of your body is right. Um, it's very normal to lean forward when you get attacked. It's a sort of initial um, kind response, if you will. However, uh, your upper body can make adjustments on your middle. So when he gets attacked and you switch your upper body, you can either wrestle him to the floor or maybe deflect his attack entirely. So why don't you make a movement and see how that goes if your chest is in the way?
And she will, as he finishes speaking, she'll move, and she's watching his reaction the whole time to see kind of if she's doing it right.
Right. I advise you to wear a very tight shirt. That might hurt a little bit, but you need to keep your chest as small as possible so the enemy doesn't have anything to grab on to. This means that I advise you to either to wear a little bit of armor, especially on your chest. This will, of course, give him the opportunity to hook around your armor, but it also means that you won't be able that he won't be able to grope you on any physical part of you exactly, because an armor can be cut off. Body parts are less willing to part of you.
Indeed.
And he'll actually try to push your upper body a little bit to see if you can stand the adjust the pushing force.
And she'll kind of brace her leg more and push back against him.
Okay, at this moment, Lucius doesn't really give any shits about where he touches you. So he'll put his hand straight on your chest and see if you can hold.
And she won't or anything. She'll just use her upper body to push back against his hands.
Okay, this is what I was talking about. The fact that you push back isn't necessary. Relax your shoulders and make my push glance off you a little bit. That means you control the way the push is going.
So she'll drop her shoulders, and as she feels him start to push, she'll attempt to kind of move her body kind of slightly sideways so that like attempting to make his push kind of glance off her body.
Yeah, and that works. You can actually see that when he comes in with just two hands, his hands will, well, not directly slide off her chest, but the force of his impact will be dissipated towards whatever side she's going towards. Now, if you twist your hip into that, on the right moment, you'll maybe even be able to tackle the attacker, which would be amazing, especially if his force is very direct.
And so as she kind of moves the upper part of her body, she'll kind of twist from the waist up, like from the hip. And as she does so, she'll attempt to put her hands onto his chest to kind of use his own momentum to push him back.
The moment she tries to touch his chest is the moment she more of stabilizes him than actually adjusts his move. So he smiles and says, "Don't touch the chest. The chest is the most heavy part. You should try and affect my shoulders, because that's the part where initially the direction comes from. When somebody charges, he'll always step from right to left. The shoulder that's most forward is the direction that's most handy to deflect to. Do you know what I mean?"
She'll nod, and her brows kind of furrowed with concentration. She's obviously taken all of this in, and the next time she moves, she'll adjust her hands to a shoulder level.
At this moment is the moment she notices that he needs to step. He needs to make an extra step to make sure that either he doesn't fall or that he needs to adjust his own body weight when he attacks. It says that's what you need to do. So don't think about attacking yet. That part will come later. This is purely about deflecting an attack when it's wanted to hold on to you. The best defense is not trying to build a wall. The best defense is not being there when the attack happens.
Okay. And so she won't attempt to kind of push him back by the shoulders so much as just his ability to grab her.
Yeah, you can actually see he's excited. That's exactly what I want. Don't try to be stronger than me. You don't know how much potence the opponent has when he attacks. You don't know how much skill he has when he attacks most of the time. Just understand that your first reaction will be a reaction of deflecting instead of attacking. The attacking part will come later, especially if you are able to be the one that takes the opponent to the ground. Then you can kneel next to your opponent and put your teeth into any soft part that he can't protect.
Okay. And she'll just go through repeating the same motion until she seems to be kind of gaining more confidence with it.
Yeah, he'll keep adjusting, especially when she's trying to place her hands. He'll keep adjusting her hands. Yeah, he will brush your body quite a lot. He will touch you anywhere that is possible on the upper body at this moment because of this type of training. Um, he seems very matter of factly about it. Seems like he's done this kind of training before, and yeah, when they're done with this particular part of the training, he's like, yes. So try to remember that. I don't expect you to be the biggest martial artist when we get into combat, but if you just train this one move, that is more than somebody who has never trained before, and this move can be quite strong.
Then I'll make sure I practice between now and then.
Right. Find a practice partner either on your level or above. Um, the next step is um, when a grapple takes hold, obviously we can't simply turn it away with our hips. We'll have to either tackle it to the ground in order to control, or you'll have to see if you can get a hold on while standing. Now, there is a benefit to your size uh, against a bigger man as me, but with my size, it's also easier for me to lift you up, which will be something that can happen in combat. So the different wrestling or brawling techniques that might help is because you are somewhat more light and nimble. Try to use as much of your surroundings as possible, especially if you're fighting a heavier opponent. I mean, for instance, stand against that wall right there.
And she'll move straight away to the wall that he indicated.
He'll move along with her, and he'll stand very close to her. And at that moment says, "At this moment, you seem trapped. I'm a larger opponent, and at this moment, you don't want to face me head on. Probably you can't, or you shouldn't. But what you can do is either see if you can escape, or even better moment, see if you can get an sort of upper hand in a way where I can't reach a smaller body such as yours. So at this moment, your biggest friend is the wall. The wall doesn't move. That means that when you push off against the wall, um, there is obviously um, more strength behind your push because, well, the wall doesn't move back. You can use your feet as you push. So try to see if you can do that. Try to um, put your hands on my chest and see if you can push yourself upwards and keep it there for a moment.
And she'll place both palms on his chest and will first brace herself against the wall and then push herself off the wall.
Yeah. She can see that Lucius obviously, with her body weight, needs to step one step back. If you do this quick enough, so you can repeat it, but I'll talk. If you do this quick enough, you might be able to make a few steps on the wall, even placing your leg like you're walking backwards on the wall. Did adjust your position of strength. If you, for instance, push your hand on my shoulder instead of my chest, and you push away from the wall, walking upwards, then you actually might be able to topple me over or make a clean escape to the place where there's room and create your own way of escaping.
And as he's talking, she'll be trying it out. She'll adjust her hands onto his shoulders, and then instead of just pushing off the wall, she'll actually walk her feet a couple of steps up and use her momentum to push him back.
She can notice that it's very hard to find that momentum, especially with a stationary character in a stationary movement. Um, but yeah, he'll actually help her by bracing her hands up against his chest the moment she walks back, so she doesn't have to move as much, so she can focus on her leg work.
And yeah, she'll just each time she'll move back against the wall again, and then try it again and again until she seems to be getting the knack of getting her feet kind of underneath her in the right place on the wall, so that she can push him as effectively as possible.
Yeah, that's good. Now see if you can roll over your shoulder and roll away from me when you've done that. So try push against me and then let go of my shoulder and my chest and roll past me and sort of behind me, escaping from your entrapment, as it were.
And so when she tries it the next time, she'll, as soon as she's starting to push him, she'll take her hands away and try to duck under his arm and kind of roll past him.
That's good. That's very good. Okay, remember to roll on your on your good shoulder. Your shoulder also helps with the direction of where you're going. If you're rolling over your right shoulder, then the chances of you um, going a bit to the right is large because your body is following whatever your hand leads into. You'll get that when you get there. Um, so I've seen your movements, and you're nimble enough to see if maybe you can pick up something as nimble based as, say, a capoeira, which is a Brazilian sort of dance like fighting style. It has to do with a lot of movements on the ground. Um, but I think you're quick enough for that. I myself aren't quick enough for that. My body is um, very broad, which means that I become a larger target, and deflecting is harder for me.
I'm much quicker than I am strong, that's for sure.
Yeah, also your build is much quicker after all. And yes, of course you're quicker because, well, because of your all your skills within your clan.
Yes, that is true. And she'll, as they're talking, she'll just be um, going over the rolling move again and again.
Yeah, he'll probably say that she needs to keep rolling straight as much as he can. It's very hard to learn to roll straight when you can't see where you're going. In combat, it doesn't matter, but in training, it does.
And he'll see that she's making a conscious effort to try to better herself and keep herself as straight as possible.
All right, I think you got it. We'll stop this part for now and see if I can teach you to break a hold. A grapple is as good as the hold it has. If you can break that hold, then your skill is better. So there are a few holds where you don't have to be strong to do. It helps, but you don't have to. So um, most people who attack you will probably grab your chest and your arm, probably the arm that you extend most forward. So yeah, stand steady and put out the arm the first that feels right.
And she'll steady herself. He showed her to stand, and she'll extend her right arm in front of her.
All right. He'll step into her, into her like a dance partner, and he'll grab um, her shoulder on the left side and her arm on the right side. This is quite a, a logical stance that you can find yourself in when people are attacking. Most frenzied people will come in swinging, but those who are trained will come in more of a calculated style, which means they first have to feel you up, so to speak, to know how you are with your fighting skills. And yeah, you can see Lucius turn his wrist a little bit, getting a stronger hold on the clothing she's wearing. And he'll do the same on her shoulder. This means that he's got her pretty tight. And says, okay, this will happen. Now, since you got your arm free, push your arm over my arm that is now attacking that's holding your arm. Can you do that? Can you put your hand sort of in the pit of my elbow?
And she'll place her hand where he indicates.
Okay, this is where it's tricky, and you either need strength or speed. So if this was happening on a speed, then you would be having more success. However, because I'm holding it already, try to use your strength as much as possible to adjust my arm, sort of make me stepping closer because you're pushing into the pit of my arm, of my elbow, which will force me either to be in pain a little bit or simply tilt my elbow and adjust it accordingly.
And she'll apply as much pressure as she can to the inside of his elbow.
Right. I think you won for dirty tactics because you simply missed the strength to do so. Try to push your thumb in it if you can. Just your thumb. It wouldn't be bad if your pinky and your thumb had sharper nails. And for a woman, obviously, this is this can be somewhat more easy to do. Most men either file the nails that they have, or they just simply cut them all short, like you did.
I thought they might get in the way of our training, but
Yeah. Well, since when you grapple, your pinky can be extended most of the time. It has a lot of strength, but if you put a nail on there, your own nail, no false nails, because your false nails will break. Although they seem stronger, they'll do more damage when they break. Your own nail will eventually either bend or um, sort of tear in. This will hurt, but it won't break anything.
they will tomorrow evening and the couple intact. And she'll just smile.
Yeah, leave a couple intact because it will happen. Now push your thumb in that hole. Don't worry about me having pain or discomfort. This is how it works. When you're fighting your opponent, you don't care if he's a sissy boy or not. You want that fucker to not touch you and get the fuck out of your life and probably die in the process.
Um, she'll try to gouge her thumb into the crook of his elbow.
Yeah, she draws blood, obviously. And he'll then give in, simply because that's what the lesson is about. And he'll give in and says, at the moment, you can see that I have to adjust my move. This will help. Now twist your hips like I told you with the deflection of the first attack.
And she'll do that.
She can see that at this moment, her attacker, which is Lucius at this point, is in disbalance. His balance isn't what it was, and he'll either have to replace his hands, so let go of her and let go of the initial grab, or um, move in closer, which will help her in gaining more control by, for instance, trying to bite the opponent.
And as she kind of repeats it a couple of times, she'll try to get more fluid between going for the crook of his elbow and then twisting to deflect him off balance.
She can really notice that her speed really helps, and eventually his hand will almost not even touch her compared to the speed she can use. And yeah, if she does that right, she breaks the momentum of any sort of attack.
she'll kind of step back. Hips. Okay, so how am I doing?
Yeah, surprisingly well, I might add. Your skills from your clan really help in adjusting the speed that you need in order to fight. It's going to be a big plus. Just remember that you take enough vitae with you because it could be the difference between your survival and not surviving.
Um, I shall make sure I try to hunt.
Yes, either hunt or see if you can use some sort of stock that you have.
Well, the important thing, well, I suppose not so important anymore, I was going to say, is that uh, to ensure that I'm not followed back here, but after recent events, I don't suppose that will be as important anymore.
Lucius has, of course, heard rumors about an imminent attack, but had um, he had um, foretold that this would happen eventually because of the nature of the bunker. And but now she is saying it, and she's saying it with a lot more clarity, like it's something that could happen every minute. And he looks at her a little bit surprised and like, so what is your idea on when this would happen then?
Oh, um, it's well within the week.
Would,
They know that we are here. Um, since
how do they know? I mean, who was followed? Who fucking broke protocol?
uh, your friend and mine, Mr. Spillane.
So Lucius slumps his shoulders and he's like, okay, he is either a very unlucky man or a very stupid man. Either way, this is why they were so busy defending it. Since Alec left, I haven't had my ears to the ground as much as I would want to. People obviously try to avoid me because of who I am. I accept that. But it's annoying that I've been informed too late. Yes, I have to talk to William then. And Isaac.
Uh, William is doing all he can to fortify the bunker as much as possible
Yeah,
before the attack
but
arrives.
I understand, but you need technical insight to make that happen.
Uh,
Hmm.
he will no doubt need as much help as he can get. Um, Also, Isaac has asked Reggie to lead a mission against the Leech um, before the attack comes, if possible. And
Reggie? Why would? Oh, right, he's Ancilla now. Oh, God. So, how does Reggie feel about this mission then? How much experience does he have actually leading a mission?
oh, he has lots of experience.
Oh, which mission did he actually lead with more than two people? Or more than three people, I should say.
The nature of much of Reggie's work is somewhat secret in nature, so I don't have the exact details, but he most certainly knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he looks more of a spy slash spy master than an actual ground working tactician. That doesn't mean that he can't do it, just means that a lot of people will have to see if he can, and when he can't, it'll be too late.
Um, she narrows her eyes when he's saying this. Uh, Reggie, very capable, Lucius. Believe me, I
Well,
have
I wish
seen
I
him in
could.
action.
I just haven't seen him in action. I've seen him in action once, and there he was capable in fighting. I don't underestimate him that he has fighting capability, but as he has leadership capability to lead a unit or a group into combat, to even divide forces, to adjust forces. I mean, I haven't seen him do that. So I'm not saying that he's not a capable man. I'm just saying that he might not be a capable combat leader. And when we find out he isn't in the middle of combat, like Spillane and his group found out, some people might get hurt or die.
Well,
I'll have a talk with him then. Or maybe Isaac.
I can assure you he is not another Spillane.
No, but it doesn't say anything else for him either.
And she's very clearly being defensive.
Oh yeah, obviously.
And yeah, her eyes kind of remain somewhat narrowed as they're having this conversation. But
Lucius very matter-of-factly about it. He has seen missions in his day go tits up when the leader, who was pronounced to be a good leader, fucked up and got people killed. However, he doesn't say that to her face, that he doesn't really trust in the prowess, because he hasn't seen it.
She seems to have complete faith in Reggie's capabilities.
Mm-hmm. If only Lucius has complete faith in her capabilities to judge combat prowess.
She'll kind of glance around. I do actually have some information regarding the leech, accurate information. Happen to have a map of the city around here?
Not with me. I have it in the room of the unit.
Oh well, when we are next together, I can point out his location to you. It is a warehouse, a large warehouse.
Is that the same warehouse where Spillane got his ass kicked?
I don't know. I merely know that he is in North Manhattan.
Right, that doesn't really say anything about the warehouse, though. Well, anyway, thanks. It will help. I remember the combat that went most well. Oh, you weren't there, obviously. The combat that went most well is when we drew out the enemy out of their comfort zone. Attacking the leech in his lair might be dangerous. He will be expecting us, that I have no doubt. He might even see or might not even see us coming. But we'll need a trick, a ruse, or a whatchamacallit, a deflection, a distraction, I might even say, to make sure that he has to choose.
Well, I'm sure that is something that you and Reggie can discuss. But my information indicated that there would be at least a couple of packs besides his own there.
A couple of packs.
But Isaac has assured us that they will be dealt with.
Right.
So that we will at least have that much assistance.
Well, you and me both know that Spillane was faced with a rather large pack, larger than any other pack we've seen so far. So, assuming that he has a large pack, remnants of other packs or other packs in the area, it still means that he'll be expecting us. And if I can avoid it, I don't want to go into him head on. And Lucius, actually, you will really think at this for a moment and say, yeah, I have to talk to Reggie to see what his ideas are on what other information we might have and what we might use as a distraction. Because the last time I used the Anarchs as a distraction, I'm not sure if they're still willing, if Isaac is also using people to form his own distraction. we might even have to use a again an ability of some sort that we have. It will be a make or break moment. It's so tricky. Backup plan, and he kind of disappears in his own mind for a moment, just thinking about all the tactical possibilities and the fact that he might not be in control, which is inwardly considered a slight, although he's not an Ancilla.
And Selena will kind of give him a moment to ponder over these things and then say, I think Isaac said that Clan Bruja would be helping to thin the leech's ranks somewhat, to try to minimize the numbers that we will actually face in the attack itself.
Right. Oh, that might be helpful. Might even help diminish the Bruja number.
Well, perhaps. But
He grins at her. How you and your political mind?
And she'll just smile back. One must always be careful.
Don't. I understand what you want to say. Don't with training. We'll stop the bullshitting for now. So.
And then very un-Selena-like, she'll just kind of grin and shrug and just go, ah, fuck it. Yeah, what's a few less Bruja, right?
Exactly. So, the final point, since you now got either the handbrake or the trip attack, we'll actually put that on training. So make your stance. I'll try to attack you. And I'm using half my pool in order to not damage you too much. And I'll use as much subdual damage as I can.
And she'll take up her stance again and ready herself.
And then he'll attack her. So that's 1, 2, 1, 2. That's about it. Roll. All right. Well, I've got one hit to grab you, and I suggest you make a dodging attempt.
Roll for that.
That's athletics. Dex athletics.
Straight dex then.
Oh God. We'll have to work on your athletics as well.
Yeah, if you want a politics roll or subterfuge or something, I can do it.
Yeah, no.
Oh, dear me. Okay.
Okay. Well,
just the one.
No, yeah. Well, you're the defender, so I lose, and you indeed use your move to twist your hips and deflect his chest off you, and you win that round. He isn't able to hold on to you, and he grins. That's what I want to see. That's what you need in action. This saves lives. This round, this momentum is yours. With your celerity, you could be on my neck right now, nibbling away at whatever I have left as invite. But this is your,
looking quite pleased with herself.
This is your dodging moment. Now I want to see you break my grab. And he just grabs her up front already. So that grab is successful. And then I'll make a strength brawl check. Of course, half whatever he has. And he is not holding on very well. But say I make it easy and I hit on a 5, which is not that hard. All you have to do, beat one attack, you can do it.
And what is that? Just strength?
Yeah, strength. Yeah, strength brawl.
Oh God. No.
Although Lucius had trouble grabbing on to her as much as he wanted to, her move does work, and he needs to flinch, but he still keeps holding on with his other hand. And he says, "Okay, I want to see this again. You were on your right way."
And she will try again.
I will use one less dice.
Oh,
Ooh, well,
damn!
this time, since I'm the attacker, defender wins, and you break my grapple.
Damn, that was a good roll for 2 dice.
Exactly. It's amazing. So you break the grapple. It says, "Yes, yes. You use what I've taught you, and see what happens. I can't hold on properly. Now for the last one, I want your escape roll. So guys, stand against that wall. Now come at you and try to grapple you. And all you have to do is escape with the move that I taught you. I'll use 3 dice. That's 1 success.
And what
You
does she
have to
roll?
make an athletics dex roll to escape.
Okay, so that is Dex. Oh, no, she doesn't do it.
This moment, it's a sort of standoff, and she can't break the roll. And he can hold her. At this moment, he just puts his hands around her waist and puts her down on the ground again. Okay, you did try right, but like I said, in an actual attack, momentum is key, and you were simply too late to make that momentum happen. Let's try again.
She nods quickly and then gets right back against the wall again.
I'll use 1 dice less again.
And oh, that's better.
A lot better.
Oh, yeah, it is dexterity. Yes, I rolled the
Yeah,
right thing. Yeah.
yeah. So at this moment, you can clearly see that can you can get away, which means again his brawling attack doesn't work, and he ends up with nothing.
And she jumps back to her feet from the roll. I'm pretty proud of herself that she's learned something new.
Very well. I'm not promising anything, but at least you got some technique and skill to make maybe make it through your first scrap.
Yeah. I think I've definitely learned a lot.
Yes, your skills will not be facing with strength and brawl initially, but will be dodging most of the attacks if you can. Because your natural dexterity and your speed help you avoid attacks. The best defense is not being there.
And would you be prepared to teach me further sometime?
Sure, if I make it through this war, I might even give you another lesson or 2.
Well, let's just say for argument that you're just fine.
You are more hopeful than I.
Hey, we can but hope, right?
Again, a famous politician said the same thing. He sort of grins, and then picks up his wooden swords and nods towards you and says, "Until the next training."
I look forward to it.
He smiles.
Thank you, Lucius darling. I appreciate all the help you've given me.
No problem. Just survive. After the war, this city will need people like you.
Well, I certainly intend to survive.
I know. And he'll just walk off, probably trying to see if he can get an appointment with Reggie. And there I'll end the scene.
Okie dokie.